welcome to my knitting podcast. My name is Monika and this is episode 30. I'll jump right in. Today I'm wearing one of my very first t-shirts that I knit. I started knitting, what's it called? Garments? That's the word I'm looking for. Last year. Before that I had mostly knit accessories. And I decided I wanted to knit a t-shirt. So this one is made out of Drops Muskat in the colorway something with apple and something with mustard. Eplegrønn, mustard yellow. The information will be down here and also in the description. So with that out of the way, I can start talking about some of my projects. I have no finished objects this week and no new cast-ons, though I do have a few acquisitions. I will talk about those at the end. I can start with a project that I have barely even started on and have barely any progress on, and it's also just the one that's closest to me at the moment. Oh, this was not very easy to show. I have only knit like 6 rows or something. And this is the Seascape stole. I must admit I have forgotten the name of the pattern designer. I think it might be Kelly something. I'm not certain, so the information will be in this corner and also in the description. I will try and memorize it till next time. It's a very beautiful lace design, and I'm very glad I did go down a needle size, because I do like the way this lace looks compared to the first time I tried to knit it. So I am knitting this on 3mm needles, and I'm using a kind of a fake mohair, I guess. It's Hanna by Permin, which is not technically mohair because it doesn't contain any mohair. It is merino, silk and cashmere. So I have spoken about it before. I'm having issues with mohair. I cannot have that against bare skin. So my plan on knitting up a shawl or a scarf with the mohair I had fell through, and I did decide to donate that yarn. So with the yarn that I have left, which is the kind of fake mohair, if it's not paired with, because I have some mohair that I'm planning on pairing with like wool, merino, and since I'm not going to have that next to skin, I think I'm going to be quite fine. But all the mohair that didn't have a plan, I didn't have a plan for it, and I wouldn't be able to use it up unless I actually bought more yarn. I decided to just let it go. Sometimes you just have to do that. But I have barely started on this project. It has been enjoyable when I do sit down and do it, but it does require a little bit of concentration because lace, it varies what you do throughout the round, except on the backside where I only purl. This is a free pattern. It's available in Ravelry. There's 2 versions out, and I did first try to do the simplified version, but I realized that I liked the ribbing, I guess, in the beginning and end of the shawl of the one that wasn't simplified, so I switched over. After I switched yarn too, because I didn't like the feel of the mohair. So this is very soft. I like it a lot. And I hope one day I will have more to show, but this week has been a bit busy, to be honest, so I haven't had the chance to sit down and work on something that actually requires a bit of concentration. So I'm gonna try and put this away without making too much noise. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do the other one that's now on my table. I have quite a few projects, so many that they no longer fit in my knitting basket that you can't even see. But I will show you the knitting basket when I have shown you the last one that's on my table. This one's gonna be a bit hard to show because I am at an awkward place. I did join in a new skein on this project and decided I was gonna start knitting on a sleeve, and then for some reason I decided I didn't want to knit on the sleeve, but I didn't cut the yarn and I continued with the body. And this is just chaos now. I gotta figure out which way is up and which way is down, and hope I don't lose any. Oh no, yeah, I was actually smart. I did put stitch stoppers on the sleeves. Good, good, good. Yeah, still not very easy to show. Which way is the correct way? Of course, this way. So yeah, this is my red sweater. I've been working on this for ages, almost a year actually. I think I started this in August. And for the past 2 or 3 weeks I've been like, I'm so close to splitting for sleeves, and kind of felt like I had no progress. So this is how much I have knit on the body, which is not that much, but considering I just split for sleeves, now I have literally 200 stitches less in the body, so it goes a little bit faster. And also, since I'm now not increasing anymore, I can just knit the body without thinking. I did for some reason decide to start knitting on one of the sleeves, and I am kind of regretting it, so I don't know whether or not I'm gonna... I haven't decided on whether or not I should just rip out the little bit I have knit on the sleeve and just knit the body until I'm happy with the body and then do the sleeves, or perhaps I should just do the sleeves first but do them 2 at a time. So what have I done? Oh, that's weird. Apparently I must have caught my elbow or something. I had a little... yeah, doesn't matter. Where was I? I'm sorry, I'm a bit distracted. Yeah, I haven't quite decided whether or not I'm going to just rip out the part I've done with the sleeve, because it's not a lot, or if I should just do the sleeves first. Maybe I shouldn't do at a time. I don't know. There's a reason I haven't touched this project since I split for sleeves and for some reason decided to do the one sleeve, because I realized that if I'm gonna do any decreases down the sleeve, I'm going to have to mark them because I won't be able to remember, and suddenly I realized that I'm gonna have to do a lot more work with this than I was prepared for. So maybe I should just do the body and leave the sleeve at the moment, but maybe I should just cut the yarn for the sleeve. Maybe that would be easier. That way I only have to think about one. And I can always join the yarn for the sleeve later, and I'm almost... yeah, I am at the underarm, so it's not like it's gonna show. You know what? I'm gonna do this. It's gonna be a lot easier to deal with later. So yeah, good. Glad I had a decision on that. I knew the yarn was relatively easy to just split because it's a very fine yarn. It is silk, but it is very thin. So yeah. There, now I can just concentrate on knitting the body and not think about the sleeves at all. Good. So yeah. This is one of my own designs. It's not released yet. It's not even test knit. I don't know if I'm going to test knit it because it is knit with a light fingering weight yarn. It is Strikkekista Potensial in the colorway Lollipop. And it's 600 meters for 100 grams. So it is a lot lighter than even just sock yarn. Which is why it's been taking me so long to knit it, but I really wanted this this sweater, which is why I haven't stopped, even though it has taken ages. So yeah. All in all, I am very happy with the progress I've had, and I have been contemplating on making it a short sleeve because it's a summer sweater anyway. So if I just continue with the body until it's a proper length and then do like actually relatively short sleeves, maybe just because it is a raglan, so I already know that it will be like down here, so it's not like it's gonna be very short, but like maybe just quarter sleeves instead of half sleeves. I'm going to have to think about it, but I do have a lot of time before I get to that point. So I think I'm just gonna do, as I just said, only work on the body, leave the sleeves for later. The sleeves are on separate needles, I guess, easiest way to say it, just because it makes it easier later, instead of trying to transfer it to waste yarn and then transfer back. They're on 2 needles I'm not using at this moment anyway, so yes, that's all I have to say about this. Okay. Now, I can actually show you the basket before I... yeah. This is my yarn basket. It's quite full. And yeah, now I can show you what's in it. So the first project here is, this is a leftover yarn project. I have already knit this particular pattern once. I am also pretty certain I forgot to move the stitch marker last time. Maybe I didn't. I am uncertain. I'm gonna have to remember to move the stitch marker. I'm gonna do that first. I know I will forget, so I'm gonna move the stitch marker on the red sweater now, and then I'm gonna show you the project that I am holding. And then I'm gonna remember to move the stitch marker before I put it down, or else I will forget. Okay, that's this one. Earlier this year I knit up a Winter's Night Enchantment sweater out of this yarn. I knit the size XXL, yeah, for our friend Danny, who hasn't received it yet. It's still right over here. You might be able to see it barely. Still haven't had time or the energy to block it, but now it's summer, so now I really should, because it might be hot enough to make it dry faster and all of that. Not this week. This week is rainy. But last week was very warm. I should have done it then. Okay. But I had a lot of yarn left over because the yarn estimates in the pattern were way off. So I have more than enough to knit a second one in a smaller size. though I did count wrong with one of the colors. So I have used every bit of scrap of the light blue color, the one that's called Morgentåke. But I have a lot left over of the blue. This is just what I have left of this one skein. I think I have 5 or 6 more skeins. And I am planning on using up as much as possible for this sweater. Every time I hold it up, it turns the color thing weird. I don't know. But yeah, this is made out of Drops Karisma in the colorway Navy and Morgentåke, Morgenfag. Marineblå, so navy blue. Yes. And I do think I forgot to move the stitch marker because I'm pretty certain I last time had split for sleeves, but I don't think I necessarily had knit this much. So yeah. I am very pleased with using up all of the light blue. It makes it a lot easier to just know that I can't do any extra color work around the wrists or anything. I just only have the yoke, and that's fine. I don't mind. So yeah. And I do think it's gonna fit quite well, and I can't wait for the winter when I can use it again. Though I am glad we're in summer right now. Even though I really can't handle the heat at all. It's the temperature variation that's the biggest problem. If it's either very hot or very cold, I'm fine. But summer in Norway is not like that. It's varying a lot. And I just can't handle it. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say about this project. I will knit the body until I think it's long enough, and then I will do the sleeves, and I don't know whether or not I'm going to have enough yarn to do full sleeves, but anyway, it's going to be good and nice and warm and cozy, and I'm going to love it. So yeah, that's all I have to say about this. Now, I have a t-shirt project that's almost done, but I have not had the energy to focus and actually get it done. Yeah. And this is my turquoise sweater, I guess? T-shirt. As you can see, the sleeves on this are half sleeves. This is my own pattern. It's not released yet. I only have 2 patterns that have been released, and one of them is a sock pattern, and the other one is a hat pattern. I haven't released any garments yet, but I will let you know if and when that happens. So yeah, I am very pleased with this one. I am very pleased with the fact that the neckline is a bit lower than the first version I had. For those of you who don't know, I used to have a black t-shirt in this yarn and construction, but I did pick up fewer stitches around the v-neck to make it less deep. That was on purpose, because I wanted it to be very modest, so I wouldn't get too much attention, I guess, while being in the choir. And I accidentally felted it. I still use it, but it's not as breathable or comfortable as it used to be, and I really want to knit a replacement, but for some reason I decided to knit up all the other versions first, because I did have a lot of yarn, a lot of this yarn, and I did want to have a lot of t-shirts, and for some reason I decided I wouldn't have time, or I knew I wouldn't have time to knit up a new black one before the concert that was the week that when I was washing the t-shirt, which is how I accidentally felted it. I think I ended up using it anyway. It was just you know, no longer possible to lift my arms and not risk showing my midsection. So yeah, I really do like this raglan details, and it is a very comfortable t-shirt. It is almost long enough, though I do think I'm gonna add one more skein, or at least part of one more skein, just to make sure it is actually long enough. But I do also think I'm gonna end up with one skein left over. And this have given me an idea. Just to get it out of the way, the yarn is Untold Cotton Merino. This color is called Poolside Blue. And the reason, yeah, I have a lot of ideas and sometimes I'm a bit rambly, I'm sorry. But yeah, I think I'm gonna have one untouched skein from this, maybe even more. I don't think I'm gonna use quite full 6 skeins. I think I'm gonna have at least one skein left over because I had 7 skeins. That means that this t-shirt that I have knit previously, which I have mentioned previously, I want to change some things about. I am planning on adding some length to it because it is a bit too short. And also I have figured out how to avoid the fact that both the back and the front hem want to flip. I haven't done it on this one obviously because I haven't fixed it yet, but I think I'm gonna sometime this week, as soon as I'm done with this one, pick up right before the hem on this one, add some length, and then I am going to do one row with half of the stitches slipped, just to force it to try and flip to the inside instead of the outside, so when I do the ribbing it will lay flat. I did try that with the sleeves on these ones, and I do think it has helped, though the sleeves are very small in circumference, so I don't necessarily think it was a big problem to begin with. Though every time I lay them down they kind of look like they want to flip, but I do think it has helped a little. Just a little. I think they might have flipped more if not. But yeah, that's the plan. I'm gonna finish this one. Gonna add almost a skein to this one. I might compare with this to just make sure I have the right length. And then I'm gonna have 4 and some of this yarn left, the navy, and 1 and some of the Poolside blue, and I'm also gonna have 1 skein left over of this color, and I'm contemplating on doing something fun. I could either do a navy t-shirt with some stripes of the blue and the purple, either in like alternating or some other fun things. As you can see, I do have a thing for stripes, but I think the thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna have a navy t-shirt with blue stripes, but I'm gonna have them as 1 stripe every 6 rows, so it will only be like 1 line of this color throughout the navy. I think that will be a very nice effect and a nice way to get some yarn out of stash, and also make sure I still will be able to use most of this, because I have realized I do rather want t-shirts than tank tops. I'm not a fan of using tank tops, so I don't understand why on earth I'm trying to make tank tops. I think it's just because it's summer and everyone else are knitting tank tops, so I kind of feel like maybe I should knit tank tops, but I don't use them, so why should I? Peer pressure and all of that. Yeah, I'm gonna try and avoid that for the future. talking about peer pressure and all of that, I did learn something this week which I was not prepared for at all. I have a sock pattern out. I love knitting that pattern. I love knitting those socks. I knit them up in this yarn, which is Dale Alpakka Forte. The pattern is called Under the Oak Socks. I love them. I use them all the time. I use them throughout the winter. I do always wear a normal pair of socks underneath, but that's just my preference. And I started knitting summer socks last year. But I always ended up knitting them too big, so I gave them all away. And now finally this year I have 2 full pairs and one that I can show you later. And for some reason, 1/2 pair. And finally, this last week it was warm and nice and I wanted to look pretty, so I wanted to have my summer socks inside of a pair of white sneakers and I wanted to look cute. I did look cute. What I have learned is I really hate the feeling of stitches underneath my feet. If I don't have that normal sock in between me and the woolen sock, I don't even think it's the wool that does it. I think it's literally the texture of the stitches. And I was going crazy because I didn't realize how bad it was until after I had left for work. And a whole day, all I could think about was, I don't want to walk because I don't want to feel the stitches more than I already do. And that of course was the day when I had to walk everywhere all day. Whew, that was a terrible day. So yeah, I learned that about myself. Good thing I learned it now and not after I had knit 20 pairs. So I will finish the pair I have started when it comes to vanilla socks, but all of this sock yarn I will no longer be using for socks. Which means I do now suddenly have like endless possibilities of like baby clothes. Because I was thinking I would use leftovers from socks for other projects. And now I kind of feel like maybe I should just use it straight away so I don't feel like it's a waste, because I do really like hand-dyed yarn. I really do like hand-dyed sock yarn. I think I have been lured by the very beautiful colors and like the inspiration, and not thinking about what I need out of yarn. This year I have used a lot more different types of commercial yarn than I have used previously. As a student and a child, I used very cheap yarn because that was what I could afford. And I used a lot of acrylic because I couldn't handle the texture of wool, which I now have flipped the other way around on, so you know, I guess that's just people change as they get older, I guess. And perhaps also commercial yarn in general has gotten softer, maybe? I'm not sure. Anyway, the point is I don't think I will be buying as much hand-dyed yarn in the future unless I have specific plans for it. Saying that, I did go to a yarn market yesterday and I did buy yarn, so I'm gonna show you that later, but like I already went into the yarn market with this in mind, so I didn't end up buying as much as I thought I would. Yeah, I'll save that for later. So that was what I had to say about t-shirts and vanilla socks, I guess, at the moment. I wonder how I got on that side tangent when it comes to sock yarns. I don't remember the trail of thought that got there, but that would be fun to watch afterwards. And then suddenly I remember that I forgot to say something or something like that, so yeah. But yeah, I am stepping away from sock knitting when it comes to hand-dyed yarn. I will rather use it for something more interesting, showing off the yarn in a better way. And I will probably not necessarily buy sock yarn, but rather just hand-dyed yarn in the future. Okay, tangents aside. My next project is one of the few, well, you have seen one of them. I usually don't follow patterns, but I do have quite a few projects actually today that do follow patterns. I think it's because I've been a bit overwhelmed lately, so it's nice to not have to think and just do as you're told. Sometimes that's nice. I'm just trying to figure out how to show this without too much fuss. Yeah, there it is. I have not connected it in the round. I know it looks that way, I'm just in the middle of a row. But yeah, this is Petiteknit's champagne cardigan, which I have knit out of, or I'm knitting out of a yarn from Rusta, which is called Ellen. It doesn't say anything about color names, and the skeins vary drastically if you try and order it online. I haven't actually tried ordering it online, but I've seen all the different pictures that, like, how they might look. So yeah, I bought most of this yarn, gosh, maybe 3 years ago now. Yeah, I think so, 3 years ago now. Time flies. I bought a lot. I have used a lot. I bought a lot. So much so I think I still have over 10 kilos. No, 8 kilos. Anyway, I have several kilos of this yarn. So I'm making a cardigan that I'm gonna wear for work. I realized that it's not always appropriate to always wear a woolen sweater, and in the summer I don't want to travel wearing a woolen sweater because it's only cold in the office and not necessarily outside. So yeah, I am quite far off from splitting for sleeves or anything. I have barely touched it this week. I think I only knit a round or two, and I also have forgotten to put a stitch marker on this. I have to remember to do that. I also haven't put a stitch marker on my blue t-shirt. So yeah, that's how you know life has been chaos. I keep forgetting to put stitch markers to show the progress I've had and stuff. Or move them. Like, yeah. So I'm putting this away. There's not a lot to say about that pattern. It's well written, it's very straightforward, it's well explained. So yeah, and the yarn was spot on when it came to gauge and all of that, so I didn't have any issues there. Only issue I have is I'm still not a very big fan of knitting with this yarn. I did love the yarn when I first bought it, and for some reason I now switched, so I prefer natural yarn. I don't know why. Guess it's just a change of preference. Okay, now I have gotten down to the sock projects, and I'm gonna show the one I don't know what I'm gonna do with first. I have this vanilla sock and an almost done sock. And I think I should just finish them and give them away. There's no reason I should rip it out. I have a lot more of this yarn, so there's no issue that I won't find something to do with it, I guess. Or I won't have enough. This is not a color that suits me, so it's not going to be for me anyway. Yeah. I haven't touched these socks at all in the past week. This stitch marker is still on the last row. I think I haven't touched them in 2 weeks. But yeah, I did really lose the motivation when I realized that I wasn't going to wear them anyway. And I haven't been enjoying knitting them. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna try and get them off the needles and out of my life for a while. Maybe I will enjoy knitting socks for babies instead, since they are a lot faster. But all in all, sock knitting has not been enjoyable for the past few years when it comes to vanilla socks. So yeah. Just get them out of the way, I guess. My other pair of socks are a lot more enjoyable. Oh, I forgot to say. I do really like this yarn. It is Anita Strikketante in the colorway orange. The yarn is beautiful. The color, I love it, but it doesn't suit me. It's a very sturdy yarn. It's kind of like high twist. And I do think it's a 25-75, I think, or 80-20. Anyway, it is very durable, and I cannot break the yarn with just my hands at all. So like, there's nothing wrong with the yarn, I just realized I don't like knitting vanilla socks, and I don't like wearing vanilla socks. So, a bummer that I learned that so late. Sometimes you have to do a mistake several times before you learn. Okay. The other sock pair is a lot more enjoyable. Though I haven't touched it a lot either. I don't think I have touched it in the past week. It has accidentally ended up at the bottom, or nearly at the bottom of my knitting basket. And as we have established before, if it does end up at the bottom, it doesn't get touched. Though at the moment, that's not a guarantee either way, because I keep forgetting to bring my knitting basket out of my office. I have been knitting on the same project for like weeks, probably just because it's been the one thing that I've been enjoying. I can't even talk. But yeah, these socks have not been touched. These are my Under the Oak socks in this really, really, really beautiful color combination. Let me see if I can show. There you can see it. It is Melert Petroleum, or perhaps it's Petroleum Melert. I never remember. And Purpur. The purple is Purpur. And I really love this color combination. I really enjoy knitting this sock pattern. I always struggle when I do get to the heel flap and the gusset and all of that. I think it's just because it kind of disrupts the flow when you're just knitting around and going like, ooh, just 2 more rows and then I can do a stripe. And then you do the stripe and then like, yay! And you continue. But yeah. So right now I'm in the, like, not even in the middle of the heel flap. I'm pretty certain last time I touched them had to go back and fix because I had accidentally slipped the wrong stitches. Because I'm doing a slip stitch heel in this broken rib pattern. No, it's twisted rib, not broken rib. Sorry, I keep saying the wrong thing. But yeah, I'm keeping the twisted rib pattern and I'm slipping the knit stitches, but for some reason I forgot one row. And I think I either just knit all of them or something. I had to go back anyway. And I haven't touched them since. But they are very pretty. Maybe I should just get these ones done. They give me a lot more joy than the vanilla socks anyway. So yeah. And it would be nice to have a third pair of socks, woolen socks, because even though it's supposed to be summer and it's supposed to be warm, I freeze like hell on my feet and are way too warm on the rest of my. So I don't know what's going on. Poor circulation maybe? Who knows? I'm putting these over here. And I'm having a small water break. Oh, sorry for the noise. Yeah, I keep talking and forgetting to bring myself some tea. My bad. Okay, last project. I think it's the last one? Yeah, it is the last one. Another one I haven't touched in quite a while. This is my green cable knit sweater. So yeah. I haven't touched it in a week. I think it's been quite a few weeks since I touched it actually. Because I need to measure how long I need to go on the sleeve before I do start the decreases, and then I need to figure out how many decreases and how often to get the cuff the way I want it. So that's why I haven't touched this one. I just haven't had the mental capacity to do any math. So yeah. It's knit out of Lille in the colorway Misty Mountain. It's the thick merino base instead of the thin one. And yeah. I don't think I have anything more to say about this one. Things goes a lot faster when I don't have a lot of progress to show. So yeah. I'm gonna just put it back. I really do love this project. I just haven't had the mental capacity to do any math at all, which I think is also why I haven't done anything on the socks, because you need to keep track, and I haven't. So yeah, on with the rest of the program, I guess. I did tell you last time that I was going to go to a yarn festival, and that I was also waiting on a package in the mail. So I can do the package in the mail first because I picked it up on Friday last week. No, Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. Anyway, I picked it up a few days ago. It is 7 skeins of this yarn, which is just regular undyed sock yarn. Or actually, I don't think it's sock yarn even. I think it's just 100% merino. Yeah. I was contemplating on buying sock yarn and decided that since I'm going to use it for baby clothing, it didn't matter whether or not it was undyed because I wouldn't use the undyed for socks. I just wanted the color white so I could finally use the stripes for the rainbow baby blankets that I've been eyeing. So I can finally start that. Though I'm not going to start that until after I have done the blue t-shirt and fix the navy t-shirt, and then I will have a break when it comes to t-shirt knitting for a little while, because then I will have 2 t-shirts. I'll be very happy, and I have to wear them a little bit just to make sure that I actually like the fit. Maybe I figure that the next one I need to knit a bit bigger or smaller, and I can then write up the pattern and do the grading and all of that, and I can knit a different size just to see how I like the fit. Yeah. But I did buy 700 grams of this yarn to do baby clothing and yarn, blankets and all of that. I must say I'm very pleased with the yarn in itself. It's very squishy, but it has very high twist, so I think it's gonna be quite easy to work with. And also it is superwash, which was the most important thing. All my other sock yarn is superwash. I think actually all my hand-dyed yarn is superwash. Would make sense if it is. So yeah. So the plan is I'm gonna knit up a few swatches, that's the word I'm looking for, and stick them in the washer and dryer to see how they change, and then make the baby clothing based on what I would recommend the parents wash them on. If the washer and dryer makes it too stiff, I will recommend that they only do the wash and then hang it. I will of course then knit a new swatch and wash it and see that it can actually do a regular washing in the washing machine. I don't necessarily always believe the label when it says superwash. I have gone into that trap before. Yeah. So this is the yarn I got in the mail. And I'm very pleased with it. I haven't tried it yet, but I am very, very happy so far. The second acquisition is the yarn I bought on the yarn festival yesterday. It was quite a lot smaller than the last yarn festival and like half the size it was last year. I don't know if that was because they had organized a kind of bonus yarn festival in, was it March or was it April? I don't remember. But there were a lot of people that didn't come this time that would have been there previously, I guess. So yeah, I only bought one skein. This is Anita Strikketante, and this is a very bright green. It's a lot brighter and like saturated than it shows up on camera, and it does have stellina in it. So it is golden stellina. I don't know how easy it is to see, and it was just too pretty to not buy. Also, it was the last one they had in this color. It was leftover from a previous run, so she wasn't going to have any more of this unless I actually ordered, like special ordered it from her, and I didn't want to. So I just bought this one. I don't know what I'm going to use it for. This one is just because I loved the skein. So yeah. As I told you, I have a problem. The last acquisition is kind of funny, actually. We have a family friend, or a family friend of my husband's family. They are friends with me too, I guess. But yeah. We have this one family friend. He is a woodworker. He has been working with his hands with wood most of his life. And his I'm not even sure if they are married. They do have separate last names, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. They might be married. Anyway, she's an artist, and they have recently decided they're probably going to retire from arts and crafts and these kinds of all the traveling and stuff they do with their with the painting and with all the woodwork and all of that. And because of that, we decided we wanted to look through quite a lot of the woodwork that our family friend, has. Because we both wanted some small things for a few weddings we're going to, and in our eyes, something personal, handmade, and I don't know how to say it. It's like it feels more personal when it's made by a family friend and it's unique and you will never find anything that's exactly the same. I'm on a very big tangent here. But we went to their home to look through some of the last few things they have, and to buy a few wedding presents and other presents. We are going to a wedding party later this year. There's a colleague of my husband's who's getting married, so we had to make sure we had appropriate gifts. And while we were there, my husband spotted something which I hadn't seen and was like, "Don't you need this?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do. It's a yarn ball." And I have actually been looking for a yarn ball for quite a few years, actually. I just haven't I haven't found one that I thought would survive if I did accidentally pull it off the table. I couldn't have a like a porcelain one, because if the yarn got like tangled and stuck and I pulled a bit too hard and it fell off the table and shattered, I would be shattered. But this one I think will actually survive. It is very lightweight, and it is very pretty, and it's handmade. So yeah. I think one of the sides might have had, it might have been damaged in transportation. It is just a slight piece of wood right here that's like, it got chipped, so if I use this end the yarn might snag, but the other side is quite nice. So I do think I will just find some, I don't know if it's the right word, but like sandpaper, and just like sand it down a tiny bit to make sure the yarn doesn't get snagged on the side where it has gotten a slight chip. But other than that, this is like perfect. It's exactly how I wanted it. So yeah. I think this yarn ball has been to quite a lot of markets and has not been bought. He had quite a few, so this one might have been the one at the very bottom, so it has been like accidentally knocking toward against other things, and that's why it has just this one little, well, I wouldn't call it a defect because it is just slightly bit sharper than it perhaps should be, but yeah, in my eyes it's an easy fix, and it makes it more unique, the fact that it is handmade, and also in general it's made of wood. Wood is very, I don't know how to say it. For me it's like you kind of have to work harder to make what you want out of wood and out of yarn than if you used plastic or other things where you kind of like could hide blemishes. Instead you kind of make the blemishes part of the design, and I must say I really do enjoy this design. So yeah, I'm very happy. I don't want anyone to think I'm not happy. I am very happy. I just don't have the highest energy levels today. And I have already actually used it with this yarn, and I've just had it in bowl, which is very nice. And as you can see, this was the wrong side because I have to have it on this side where it doesn't snag. So yeah, I am very happy I have this. It makes it easier to organize my yarn, and also not just loose yarn everywhere so my cat gets into it. Yeah. Anyway, I think that's all I have to say today. It's been a very long week, so I am going to release this a day late, I'm afraid. So yeah. Thank you all for sticking throughout the video, and I really do hope you have enjoyed it, and if you have, I would appreciate it if you gave me a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. And yeah, I don't think I have anything more to add. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and I see you next time. Bye.